Hey there YouTube, Gorthaur Gaming here. Got another online battle replay for you. This one is going to be a Rome versus the Seleucids. This build I've got here is a Premarian Rome build, but I'll go over the army builds once we get in the map. But I really like this Premarian Rome. It's got a lot of merits to it, I feel like. But anyway, my front line is 5 Hastati, 4 Principes, and then I've got 3 Triarii, backed up by 3, or supported by 3 Velites, and then a Saki Equites on either flank, and a Saki Equites Extraordinari on either flank, and a Legatus General. And then my opponent, he's got 4 Median Cav, 2 on either flank. He gets 5 Thorax Swords. He's got 4 Eastern Slingers, a Persian Light Archer. And up here he's got 2 Median Cav and these Syrian Armored Elephants. I saw my opponent switching factions several times. He switched from Egypt to Bactria to Seleucids, so I was expecting either chariots or elephants. And that's why I brought 3 Velites. Normally I would bring probably 2 Balearic Slingers, but with these Velites, I really need them, the javelins, to take out his armored elephants. So, like I said, at this point, I'm feeling good about this engagement. His Thorax Swords are going to take a while to tear through my Hastati. So I'm just going to start pushing forward and engage his infantry. I send 2 of my Triarii and these 2 Principes to cover this flank. There's this little bit of impassable terrain. And for those of you who don't know, you've got to be very careful about this impassable terrain. Sometimes you don't realize it's there. And that can make a lot of things very tricky. But anyway, I just kind of just push up, use my cav, use this unit of Triarii to kind of screen out his cav over there. I'm not sure, he gave a order to have them run really far away. And I'm just going to go, here's something my opponent, I'm going to slow this down so you can see this. My opponent charged in here, and I'm not sure if he saw this impassable terrain. I didn't see it until later, but I start coming down to charge here. He's got his elephants too far forward. These Principes have got javelins. There's 2 Velites that are coming up here. He needs to hold off until he can get me engaged here. Even 2 Principes against that Thorax Sword, it's going to take me a while. He needs to get me held back, and then he needs to be charging these armored elephants in here. I mean, look at this terrain. They are going to tear through my Hastati here. And if he had done that, I think this engagement would have come out very differently. Instead, though, he comes up here and immediately runs amok. And I think that's what he was trying for. But as you can see, it doesn't take much from these Velites, and boom, he runs amok. Turns over here, runs into the back of his own guys. He's going to hurt these Principes, but when they're amok, and in 2 dense infantry formations, they're not going to break through. And now there's a Triarii to pin them down. I've got his 2 cav against my 2 cav, and I've got infantry support. He's not going anywhere. And because I was so focused up here, I did not see that he charged my general, so I thought I'd go ahead and blow my cooldowns before my general died. I get a nice rear charge here. I sent 1 cav around the flank, and I end up getting a really nice rear charge here. But I am under a lot of missile fire, and he starts chasing me here, and I'm just going to have to try to push his skirmishers away. But at this point in the engagement, it's still very even. But I feel like I've got the upper hand. He's got his cav, and that's the other thing he should have done here. My opponent makes a mistake. He charged in at my general with both of his cav, and that really didn't accomplish anything for him. He needed to take out these skirmishers to get his elephants free, and at this point it's too late. his elephants are bogged down. He's got 2 elephants left. This thorax sword is done. And the infantry engagement is very quickly here going to start going in my favor. And his cav are better than mine, but he's bogged down up here. And I have spear infantry support. These Triarii are very tough. And with that impassable terrain, he's not going anywhere. Now his elephants have died, and so I've got 2 Principes that are in good shape, and 2 Triarii that are now free. So I'm going to use my Triarii to keep on his cav, use my Principes, and start getting behind him. You know, my center's not doing so well, but that Hastati held out a very long time against a Shield Bearer. The Shield Bearer is a much more expensive unit, and he just, I mean, it's not good, but the problem with hoplites, they just don't have any killing power. So even that Hastati is going to hold out, and now he's done over here on this flank, and I've got 2 more Principes who are going to be able to swing in. The only thing that really worries me right now is he still has a lot of skirmishers. A lot of skirmishers. He's got 3 of these Eastern Slingers and this Persian Light Archer, but he just doesn't have any infantry left. This Thorax Sword's not going anywhere, it's pinned. His Shield Bearer General's the only thing he's got left with any strength, but I've got these Triarii, Hastati, and Principes. And now that this fight is wrapping up, I'm going to be able to get some of this cav free and start coming after his skirmishers. So, I mean, again, I think my opponent's purpose with his build here was very clear. He was just going to get my infantry in line, use the terrain, use everything here to use his elephants to take me out. I mean, that's what the Seleucids need to do, is use those tools. But he came in too early, and he needed to hold off. He needed to get a bigger gap. And I had 3 Velites, so he really needed to hold off and either bring the cav he had on his left flank around sooner and use his cav on the right, use all 4 of his cav units to tie down, you know, my units and those skirmishers, but he just wasn't able to do that. And in the end, with his elephants not doing anything, he just really didn't have much opportunity to turn the fight back in his favor. We'll check out the battle statistics. This must have been the one that got in his skirmishers, doing very well. This one doing pretty good. These 2, but this is probably the one that was just tying down his cav on the left flank. Velite's not doing very well at all, but that was probably a lot of that was his elephants. Hastati, a couple of these doing very well. This one not so much. Principes, you know, doing well enough. Triarii, doing well enough. Just with this build, I had a lot of infantry, and his swords just were not going to be able to kill it. And slingers are very good, but against Roman infantry with their high armor, you know, and that's the other thing too. My opponent brought a lot of skirmishers, and he really had. If he was going to, I mean, the only thing I'm trying to think what my opponent could have been thinking here is, you know, maybe he thought he was going to use these to take out my skirmishers, but because I rushed forward and I engaged his infantry so soon, and then he rushed his elephants forward, and his elephants, I mean, elephants now go berserk very easily. I mean, you saw that it only took 1 or 2 volleys and they were done. He really needed to hold off his elephants until he could deal with my skirmishers. The javelins from my infantry can take down the elephants as well, but they don't have as many javelins, they don't have as much range or do as much damage. So really he needed to be more patient, and I think a lot of times in Rome 2 people are not very patient, because that's a lot of money on, we'll see actually how much that is. That's a lot of money to get 30 kills. Let's see. yeah, 1900 talents to get 30 kills. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. But anyway, good game to my opponent there. I really enjoyed this match. Premarian Rome's a lot of fun, I feel like. As usual with YouTube, if you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll try to get you some more videos soon. Gorthaur Gaming, signing off for now.